Home Editor. An investigation by BBC Panorama has discovered that lawyers for 5 of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers, the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, have made a request for Prince Andrew to give evidence in their court cases. The 5 women allege that the Prince witnessed how Epstein and his guest behaved at a number of his homes, as Darragh McIntyre now reports.
The allegations made by Virginia Giuffre about Prince Andrew have raised questions that won't go away. The lawyer for 5 of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers says he wants Prince Andrew to testify as a witness in their court cases. The women say the Prince witnessed how Epstein and his guests were given massages at the sex offender's home. Panorama has been told that subpoenas have been prepared for the cases and could be served on Prince Andrew if he returns to the United States. And it means that the next time Prince Andrew visits the States, he faces being ordered to give evidence, whether he likes it or not.
With respect to Prince Andrew, I think he needs to come clean, and I think the facts need to be revealed.
Prince Andrew says that he did not see, witness, or suspect any suspicious behaviour during his visits to Mr. Epstein's homes in Florida, New York, and the Caribbean. And he says he's willing to help any appropriate law enforcement agency with their investigations if required. Virginia Giuffre, who says she was trafficked to London by Epstein to have sex with Prince Andrew, told Panorama that she was introduced to him by the Prince's long-standing friend Ghislaine Maxwell. She says that after a visit to a nightclub, Ghislaine Maxwell instructed her to have sex with the Prince. In court documents, Ghislaine Maxwell says all Virginia Giuffre's allegations are lies.
The people on the inside are going to keep coming up with these ridiculous excuses, like the photo was doctored. I mean, come on. I'm calling BS on this, because that's what it is. He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth, and I know that's me.
People who say that you're not telling the truth, they point to inconsistencies in your tale. How do you account for those?
You are left with a foggy memory sometimes. You really are. So yeah, you know, I might be wrong on dates. Absolutely. I might be wrong on places even sometimes. But one thing that I can tell you is you never forget the face of someone who's heaved over you.
For his part, the Duke of York emphatically denies any form of sexual contact or relationship with Virginia Giuffre and says any claim to the contrary is false and without foundation. Darragh McIntyre, BBC News.
Let's pick up on that with our royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell. So Nick, where does this request leave the Prince, and what do you think the likely response will be?
Hugh, the questions keep on coming. We've heard Andrew now on the Newsnight interview. We've heard Virginia Roberts, Virginia Giuffre, as she is now, tonight on Panorama. And as she said tonight, only one of us is telling the truth. And in a sense, we all now have a chance, having heard from both of them, to decide for ourselves which of them seems more plausible, more credible. She has repeated her well-established allegations. We've heard also Andrew's categoric and absolute denials of any impropriety. The significant new detail is that 5 of the women who were Jeffrey Epstein's victims now want, through their lawyer, to ask Andrew questions for him to give evidence in court. It is unclear whether he will do that, although in the statement when he stepped back from public life, he said, of course, if required, I will cooperate with US law enforcement agencies. There is an absolute opaqueness, I spoke to the palace tonight, as to whether he will cooperate with this request for sworn depositions for the lawyers of the women. What is unclear, I think, is the extent to which this story is going to go on. There is a lot of mileage in this left. What, though, is clear, I think, is that Andrew's route back to public life, to royal duties, remains extremely uncertain.
Okay, Nick, once again, many thanks. Nicholas Witchell, our royal correspondent.